In a change of program tonight, emergency situations are many and varied in their suddenness and severity, and mass emergencies present a range of specific challenges. We discuss how to prepare for these in an extremely informative show that could save lives. So stay with us and stay with DBS for Dolor Factor Live.
The views expressed in this program are those of the hosts and guests, and in no way represent those of DBS, and are not intended to determine decision-making processes. Dolor Factor Live is brought to you compliments of Lime, Organica, AF Valmore, EC Global Insurance, Skin Science, Illumines, Rainforest Hideaway, Mango Beach Inn, Cars for Rent, Transit TV, Carpet Media, Prestige Auto Holdings Limited, Ferrens Dairy, Infinity Color Shop, Stars Publishing, Touch Therapies, Lame Spa, Trios Caribbean Fusion Restaurant, and Baywalk Shopping Mall.
Hello, welcome to Dolor Factor Live. I'm Delia Dolor. Thank you for joining us. Last week we discussed emergency response and available services with Mabius Francis and Fernando James of the St. Lucia Fire Service and Glen Wilson of St. John Ambulance. Your response indicated that this was a topic of great interest to you. We initially planned to discuss menopause and andropause tonight, but due to the unavailability of our guests, we had to go to Plan B, which is a necessary part of being prepared for any emergency. Of course, emergency preparedness was at the top of our list, as our viewers could not get enough of the subject last week. Tonight, we hope to answer your questions and help you be better prepared for the unexpected. But first, housekeeping. Thank you to Dolor Factor Live viewers who came to Baywalk Shopping Mall on Saturday. We had a fun time with Isai Hall, and it was so nice seeing fathers playing with their children. In fact, there were families competing against families. We'll be doing it again next year, so don't miss out. High Tide Restaurant at Bay Gardens Beach Resort and Spa was the place to be on Father's Day. DFL winners Mr. and Mrs. Henry and their son Coyne from Otabour had a great time, and so did my parents and I. The food, the entertainment, the ambience, everything was perfect. Again, don't miss out for next year, God willing. Attorney at law Veronica Snack, who was our guest when we discussed the importance of having a will, has asked me to tell viewers that she will respond to all of your questions. It's just that there are just so many of them, so please bear with her. Thank you, Veronica, for doing this for DFL viewers. I'll announce tonight's giveaways later, but before we start the show, on behalf of DBS and the DFL team, we'd like to send our sympathies to the family and friends of Siobhan Polion from Bellevue. This week, his family had to endure his passing. His ventilator was switched off due to a freak accident last week. We are especially sad at DFL because as part of our U Factor program, we met Siobhan and the students of the Auger Secondary School. And I have to say that he actually he handed me a note, and this is the note that he gave me, and it actually lists the 3 things that he loved doing the most. He said that he loved dancing, singing, and playing music. And we asked him, who does he talk to when he has a problem? And he answered that he talks to his mom, that he really loves his mom, and he talks to his mom if he has any problems. And when we asked him who did he admire, he actually said Beyonce. I spoke to his mom, Brenda, about his answers, and she said it sounded so much like him that he would tell her everything. And I'll be visiting her tomorrow morning to deliver this note to her. Our thoughts and prayers go to Siobhan, Brenda, and their family. Back to tonight's show. On set with us are Dawn French, the director of the National Emergency Management Organization, NEMO of course, and Glen Wilson, master trainer of St. John Ambulance. Good evening, both of you.
Good evening.
It's really lovely to see you again, Glen.
It's wonderful to be here again.
And how many times I'm welcoming Miss French.
Well,
wonderful to see you
first
too.
time I'm here as the director NEMO.
That's true,
Yeah,
because
you can't
normally
go on the show without that hat.
that's right. But tonight is very important that you do wear this hat, because we are going to be talking about emergency situations, and a lot of our viewers don't seem to understand, especially when we actually go out into events where there are lots of crowds, that there are certain things that we have to look out for ourselves, but there are also certain things that the organizers of events need to look out for. And of course, Dawn is going to be here to tell us about that, and Glen will also be there. Well, he's here to tell us about how we can look after ourselves and also other people around us. But before we go into tonight, of course, we want to ask you about your ferens. I know about Glen because he's a Guinness man through and through. Well, when it comes to ferens, at least, right?
I'm leaving the Guinness for last week and eat all the other flavors, and then
Very much so.
you know, like when you're little and you leave all the meat on the side.
Yes.
The Guinness
Similar,
on the
yeah.
side.
Yes.
That's it, that's
and all the other flavors first.
Very
And as
much
soon
so.
as he walked in, the same thing. He wanted his
Guinness ice cream. Guinness is good for you.
All right, then I'll take your word for it. But it is nice. I really like that one. What about you,
But I
Dawn?
wasn't a fan too much of the Guinness. I like the peach.
The peach. Oh, even more ladylike. Yes, more
I
ladylike.
like the peach.
Okay.
The
well.
Guinness wasn't bad.
Mhm.
It was nice, but
Well, it's a taste for everyone.
Yes.
I always say, you know, it's a taste for everyone.
But I watched the show and everybody seems to go for the Guinness.
They
So it
do,
seems
they,
like,
yeah,
you know, I'm
the
bucking
Guinness and the
trend
sea
there.
moss.
No, you're not.
You know,
Yeah.
Guinness girl, she told me that she don't like
Well, I tasted the Guinness for the first time on this show, and it was really nice. And now I buy it. Yeah.
I like the peach.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I could say more about
Two
that, but
against
let's
one.
move on to our 2 in a row questions, because you know the viewers always want to know a little you know, something different, especially from you, Miss French, because you know when you wear your NEMO hat, you always especially when there's a hurricane.
Stop.
Yeah, yeah. So now we get to see you in another light, and so I'm going to ask you the question first.
Alright.
And the question I have for you is, what about you irritates you the most?
We had to dissect that one, didn't we? Before
Yes,
the show.
yes.
And I finally, and my first answer was, well, nothing, you know, I'm kind of happy with myself. But then after we dissected the question, I think, and I suppose as I get older, it gets worse. I just don't have a tolerance for people who don't manage their time. You know, if we say we're going to start at 2:30, let's start at 2:30. It's gotten so bad that, you know, if you invite me to come and do a talk as director, and you say that the talk is at 2:30, I will ask you, is it at 2:30 or 3 o'clock? Are you telling everybody 2:30 so that we can start at 3? And they say, you know, it's really at 3. I said, okay, I will be there for 3 o'clock. Because I try to keep time.
Yeah, but that's not really answering our question. You know why?
Why?
Because I don't see she's laughing.
but
That's how
when
we
you
get. I'm
dissect
sorry.
the question,
No,
that's
that's not.
what came
No,
up.
that's not answering the question. I
question.
asked you why, because you said that irritates you the most. Why should it irritate you? I think that you are perfectly within your rights to be irritated if you're told to come, you know, at a certain time and people aren't ready for
Well,
you.
the irritation
So
comes,
why
I
should
suppose,
you
when I
be?
don't have that conversation and I arrive, you tell me come for 2:30 and there I am at 2:30 and the hall is empty. And
Yeah, I know, but you're still not getting me. That's not what I'm
Okay.
saying. I'm
Okay,
saying,
I can get it.
I'm saying. You see, it's the
Okay.
peach ice cream. I'm saying
should have had the Guinness
that
instead.
there's
Yes,
nothing.
you
There's
should
nothing
have.
wrong in that.
Right.
In you being irked about that,
But
because
it puts me on a separate with the rest of the society.
okay, fair enough. All right, she always has to have the last word.
Yes.
Thank you, Miss French. Glen, your question. What is for you your most favorite movie of all time?
For me, I would probably say The Color Purple by Alice Walker. But I'm still sort of balancing up between The Color Purple and Imitation of Life.
Yeah, they're both great
Yeah, I
films,
think,
but
yeah, these
I'd
are
have to
very
say Color Purple. Have you seen them? Yeah. What do you think?
He's saying it and I'm just thinking to myself, it got the most Oscar nominations and didn't win one.
Really?
Yes, that's
Didn't
true.
win one
That's true.
Academy Award,
That's true.
Including Best Actress for Whoopi Goldberg.
Whoopi
Yeah,
Goldberg, yeah.
that's a
I
crime.
don't even think they
Sorry, that's a
nominated-
crime. That's
I
a
don't even
crime.
think they nominated Steven Spielberg as director.
Yeah, that's a crime. But that's another
That's
story.
another
offense.
But,
Another
but
story.
what do you like about that film, Glen?
I think for me, growing up, when I first watched the movie, was that I was able to relate to it, and for me, it is still moving. In that you see movies that you'd not want to watch over and over again, but I can sit down and watch The Color Purple over and over, and always learn something new or see some part that I missed along the way and so forth.
When,
So I
when
think.
it came out, I was studying in England and I saw it on the big screen. And I find it a difficult movie to watch over and over. It's got so many themes of
It does.
abuse in it.
It does, yes.
At so many different levels that I find it. I mean, I've seen the whole thing, so I understand it, but I find it difficult to watch over and over again.
And I think that as we get older, maybe I speak for me, as I get older and I see it, I find new things about it.
Yes.
Oh, I understand
exactly.
it.
You
in a-
understand something
I
different.
understand it,
Yeah.
and it's
Yeah.
worse.
It's worse.
It's worse. Every time I see it,
Yes.
it's getting worse.
Yes.
That
I
people
think
had to endure
That's
that.
the power of
Right.
the film.
Yes.
Yes,
That's
that's the
film,
power.
that you can
Yes.
come back to it and you know, it gets worse.
Well, I think Steven Spielberg, he has that knack
He does.
of coming out of culture, because
Yes.
both people were, didn't like the fact that he was, a white director, producing a film that was
on
largely
black.
of a black
Yes.
culture. He did the same with Hitler's List.
Right.
Exactly,
Schindler's
Schindler's
List,
List,
yes.
Schindler's List, the
Yes.
same
Yeah.
type of thing. Although I suppose he is a Jew as well, so it was a bit easier. But even
yeah.
so, it did the same thing here. But we could talk films all night,
Yeah.
but that's not what we're here for. We're here to ensure that everyone understands that we are talking about safety, and in particular this week we're talking about mass safety. Last week we spoke about individual and personal safety, and now we're looking at when we are on our own or when we're with groups or crowds, what to look out for and how we can help ourselves and other people. But as we go to the break, I know you're waiting for the giveaways tonight. Easy ones. Name 3 Farron's ice cream flavors featured on Dolor Factor Live. That's 3 Farron's ice cream flavors that we have spoken about, not just tonight, at any time. 2 winners will be chosen tonight, and you will be able to choose whichever flavor you want. Okay. Now, which island do the cowgirls? I'm going to actually show you this magazine. Of course, it's She Caribbean magazine. Which island do the cover girls of the latest issue of She Caribbean originate from? And they must be familiar, because they're a familiar family, and I'm not going to give you any more hints of that. Okay. Well, you will win the latest issue of She Caribbean for you and a friend. What is MAC Cosmetics' philosophy? And if you answer that correctly, you will win a bag of MAC products. And I have to tell you, the last winner who won the MAC products, I was so envious. The bag was like this, and it was full. Yeah. And ladies, I'm sure you appreciate the value of those products and how wonderful they make you look. I mean, look at me. And you can find the questions on DolorFactorLive.com and Facebook, Dolor Factor Live TV show. This is DBS, of course, Dolor Factor Live. We'll be right back.